Hello. We'll start the session now, as it's just after past. I've also got my colleague from my team in the chat called Hannah. So if any questions as I'm going through, if you put in the chat and she'll be able to answer. If not, you can wait to the end when you'll be able to speak to ask questions. So I'll now share my screen with you. Right, so best way to find Quartz Web, the quickest way, is to go onto the NOCN website. And in the top right hand corner, you've got the systems button here, and just click Quartz Web. Give it a minute to load. Let me just log out, because I already logged in. So this is what you will see straight away. If you don't click this button here saying you've read and agreed, you will not be able to do anything else. It won't allow you to put username or password in. So just make sure to click this button every time. And then obviously my detail pops up straight away, and just click login. So this is just a walkthrough of obviously registering and awarding, as we're going through registering today. These are the options you should see at the top. These options here. If you don't see these options, it may be because up here you've got a different role at your centre, and this you need to change it to centre administrator or centre contact or administrating contact. If you're logged in as a tutor or whatnot, you will not be able to register learners. So always make sure that is the correct role before continuing. So you will go to actions and then down to e-registration submission. Here you will have the course of learning and the qualification. The course of learning is something our internal system creates, so it has the same name as the qualification you're wanting to register against. When you drop down here, it'll show all the courses and you are approved for. I'll just choose a simple qualification for now. So when you choose the course of learning, you will then be able to choose the qualification which is linked to it. If you're only registering against units in the course and you don't want to register against full qualification, you would leave this bar blank. And just click continue. And straight away, you've got your information there you've just selected. You've run start date, be when the course starts. We always say this would needs to be 5 working days prior to when the course starts or the training starts. So I'll put this to the 18th. And the run end date, let's put a week after the 25th. The provider reference is anything you want to put. So after you've gone through with this process, you'll receive a run ID number, which we ask you obviously to quote when you ring us up with queries. But if you ever forget that and you can't remember it when searching on this system on here, if you put something in here what's relevant to the course you're registering, so if you put just today's date, and then when you come to registering, searching for the course, you can search that instead of a run ID. So that's all just relevant to yourself. The purchase order number is also something what you'd want to put in, so you know when it comes up on the invoice what you've been charged for, what it relates to. So then again, we'll put the same again. Oops. Oops. The delivery site is obviously the center where the course will take place. Let's put main site. And then obviously the tutor who's going to be taking the course. I'll put myself. In here, it says ICV is the intended credit value. So if you're registering against a full qualification, meaning if this has got something in it, so you're registering for full qualification, you'll put a 0. So it's just so that when you obviously intended credit value, you're getting charged for the full qual. If you aren't registering in the full qualification and this is blank and you only want to do 1 unit out of this course, you can view the units here. So there's only 2 units in this. This is why I picked this qualification. And you can see the credits here. So if you want to register against this unit here and it's got 4 credits, you would put 4 in there. But as we're registering a full qual, I'm going to put 0. You'd then, to register the learners, you would find the standard e-registration template at the bottom here and click here. This will open a Excel spreadsheet. Right here. Make sure I click enable editing. And this is what we use obviously to register all learners. We ask that you don't obviously change this, otherwise it won't go through. And the only mandatory fields are the one with the asterisk. So the surname, forename, date of birth, postcode, and gender. So I will just put training date of birth. Oh, I think it's because I put dots instead of slashes. And I've done it again. There we go. Postcode, well, let's put S. And gender. Choose male. That's it. That's the only required information that is mandatory for a learner to go through. You can put more if you wish, but that is the minimum needed. So then you'll save this to have your desktop or anywhere easily accessible. Save that. Yes. And it's, well, that's nice. Bear with me 1 minute. Sorry. Save that. And then close that. And then we're back to the page here. And this is where you just select the file. And it should show you a preview. And you see that it all links up. That's why we ask that you don't mess with it, obviously, because then it wouldn't link up, it wouldn't go through. And you would click continue. If you was only registering against the course and just the unit, what we said instead of a full qualification, you would click continue with unit registration. And the next page would allow you to just choose the units you're wanting to register against. I can show you that if you wish. You should let me come back after. Yep. So you've got the modules there. So this qualification I've chosen has only got 2 units and both in a mandatory group. So you choose the group. So it was obviously mandatory or optional. And click search. And it'll show you the 2 units within the qualification there. So if you only want to register against this one, like as we said earlier, you just click add, and then you click continue, and it'll ask you to confirm. But obviously we're just registering against the full qualification. I'm going to go back and just click continue as normal. So bear with me 1 minute. So it takes back to this page. I've got 0 into the full qual there. I'm going to have to select the file again. It'll show me the preview. And then I just click continue. And here it will show you all the details you've filled in just to confirm. So you've got the course, qualification, run start, end date, provider references, the site, the tutor, and the file you've just put in. And you just click submit. And that is how you register. And you will be given a run ID every time you register. That we ask, obviously, make note of this. So if you ever have any queries about the learners or the results for this batch, when you ring up, if you quote this number in your centre, this is how we'd look into it. So if you keep a note of that, that's how we can help. And that's that. But if you go to the main page, So when you first log in, where I said the user guide, it is just for a bit more resources. If you scroll down, there's YouTube support videos, and the process I've just shown you is there for NOCN qualifications. One against the units, like we said, without choosing the qualification, and one for the construction qualifications. Yeah, that is the registering process. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to type in or ask? Right, I'm just looking at the messages here. So, Joanne, can we register learners in advance without entering them for a qualification? Unfortunately not. The process only allows you to register learners when registering for a qualification. So, is there any way to delete your registration file? Where's that gone? Any way to delete? Oh, would you have to contact? If you attach the registration file and you've clicked continue and confirm and you've been given a run ID, you will have to contact NOCN for us. If you quote the run ID, obviously if you've done it straight away, if you quote the run ID straight away for us, we can then cancel it for you. How would you complete the racks? Right, how to complete the racks? So there is a video on the first page when you log in. Like I showed where the support videos are, what says generating and completing the RIC. So that is a walkthrough on how to complete the racks. We only need to register them 5 days before the class or the course starts. It'd be 5 working days before the course starts, just so we can get them registered in time. And your mics are now working if you want to unmute and talk if you would prefer not to type anything in. I do apologise. How do you get confirmation of the registration? So once, let's say I've just put that through, once it's been processed by us here at NOCN, you will receive an automated email what says your e-registration file has now been processed. When you enter for an award, do you have to name the units as there are a lot to choose from? What award is that referring to, Ruth? Sorry.
So the English and Maths Awards,
Yeah.
and obviously we choose specific units that are relevant for our students.
Mhm.
Do we have to name them when we're registering the qualification, or do you name them when we're ready to submit for the
Yeah, so
qualification?
so you would be registering as full qualification, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd register in full qualification with the run ID and obviously then quote that to us. And if obviously there's too many to choose from, we can then do that internally. We can select them so we can only show the ones that you need.
Yeah, so we've chosen units we want to run, so would we do that before or with you?
With us, so you'd register the qualification, register the course, get the run ID, and then if you let us know the units you want,
Yeah.
and we can obviously then make them visible for you.
Okay, lovely, thank you.
No problem. Or can we register in the middle of a course running? No, we'd need the learners registered 5 working days before the course starts, just so it gives us enough time to get everything prepared. Do we get a registration number? Each learner will get their own learner ID, and the registration number would be the run ID. So the run ID is relevant to the whole batch of learners, and once registered by us internally, the learners will get their own learner ID. Yeah, and Hannah's just shared the registration and certification policy there as well, if anyone would like to look at that after. I do apologise, sorry about that. I was just doing the internal work for one that we've just done, so I can show you the same process, the awarding process, sorry. So I will share my screen now. So this is the course we have just registered. And if I refresh, because I've just done the internal work now to get it registered, it should come up. And there we go. So the learner is now there. So to claim for the learner via an ERAC will do, you will go to the results here at the top of the page. And then the e-result submission form. and you will click Generate ERAC. This will then open another Excel spreadsheet at the bottom. So you just open this. Maybe make sure to click Enable Editing. And so you'll have two tabs. So you have the summary, which is obviously the course information. So you've got the course title, qualification, your centre name, run ID, and all the information we put in previously. On the second tab, you've got the learners. So we've got one learner here, and then you've got both the units within the qualification sideways. So depending on the qualification, you'll have all the units across here. So if I want to claim this unit here, let's click on that, and the drop down, click Achieved. And then we can do it for that one also. Achieved. And then all you do is save that again to your computer, save as. This. And then close it. And then from here, you'd go to Actions, your result submission at the bottom. And then you would choose the file here. So it's the same kind of process as the registration file. And there it is. Let's click Open. It'll show the file there, and just click Submit. It'll ask you to confirm. And it said now it's been submitted. And the same process with the registration file. Whoever submits it will receive a automated email from NOCN just saying this file reference, your e-results have now been processed. And the day you receive that, it'll take 24 hours overnight on the system to show as achieved on here. So when you receive the email on the day, if you go into Quartz and it still shows as not achieved, that's because it'll take overnight to update. So if you look the day after, you'll see that the learners have achieved. And that is the awarding process, which is pretty simple once you've gone through the registration one. So let me see. Any questions in regards to that? I hope that was helpful to all of you. I think if there's no questions, I think this is where we'll end it here. Thank you for attending, and I hope you've all learnt a lot.
Thanks, Alex.
No problem. Trace it. Any registrations or results claim? Right. Okay. Let me share the screen. So the run ID you've got here, what you've been given, what we'd obviously keep a reference of, you'd go to Actions, Your Runs, and then put the run ID in there. It says run ID, paste it, click enter, and it'll come up there below. And if you click on it, like I mentioned, obviously the day after receiving the automated email that it's been your results have been awarded. If you look on here the day after, that will be a full green tick saying that the learner's achieved. Is that helpful? Is that in what you were referencing? You can also search for learners if you prefer, which can obviously then take you to the run ID. So if I go to learners, I go full name, I go training, and then I've got that learner there, what I've just registered. If I click on more, or you can see the run ID here is relevant to there. If I click on more, tell the information there, and the registration is the qualifications to register against, and the run ID is there. So if you ever want to get back to it, I can just click more, and it'll take me to the run ID page. And it takes me back here. I hope that was helpful. Any other questions before we end the webinar? And if you do want to go over this again, I believe India has recorded it and we'll be sending it out. If that's everything, then thank you for attending.